Hello, I'm Michele Rondelli, Creative Director at 4Spaces, based in Zurich, and surprising the entire world with beautiful fabrics. Last year we introduced a very successful outdoor collection based on the winds, mostly originated in Europe. We had the Levante, a famous wind in Spain, the Scirocco coming from the Mediterranean Ocean, Solano, Mistral, the famous wind in south of France, blowing strong winds from the north to the south. And we went into those areas and regions and picked up on beautiful textures and patterns. So here, for example, we started to weave some designs also on a black warp, referring to like more the Arab Islamic culture from North Africa. And this year we liked the idea to go and see how travelers would travel through the world. And so we took inspiration from the epic travels of the explorers like Marco Polo, Columbus, and followed their routes. And when we started to look at these locations where they were interested and stayed and explored and commented a lot about it, it was definitely one area was the desert. And so we did some research and found a rich textile culture in those deserts, mainly originated by the Berbers. You have to imagine in the deserts they were traveling, they were like camping in their tents and they would travel, so they could not just build every time a new house. Plus there was no really stones to build, it was just sand. So the tents were mostly built out of textiles, very heavy textiles. They lined them, the outside layer, the inside layer, so that they could withhold the sandstorm. But then inside they would also lay out on the carpets, textiles, heavy textiles. And the inspiration then drew us to look for a very heavy textured yarn. As we know, boucle would be a very ideal yarn to create such a texture. And perhaps in a flow of like having so much boucle yarns out, we tried to actually go a little bit a different way, using the boucle in a combination with like a chenille yarn, which is almost a bit of velvetish. So I would like to introduce you to these two qualities, Masai and Mara. Masai is basically the plain construction. If you look at it also a little bit like laying on the floor, it actually remembers you of like one of these heavy textured carpets in wool. We wanted to have a richness in the base of the fabric, so even a plain fabric looks rich and reads as a texture. And then we combined it with a stripy pattern, which is Mara, to go along with. And Mara is also very attractive on the backside to create actually also a vice versa effect for pillows and decorations. The yarn we selected is the polypropylene yarns. These are the yarns we feel most comfortable with to assure a beautiful hand. You know that this collection is not only for the outdoor areas, but we like to see it also for indoor applications. And in most of the design concepts, we see it more and more happening that indoor-outdoor is just a flow, not necessarily a mix of textures and a mix of a hand. So far, I think it's always a bit disturbing when you have these most beautiful fabrics inside and you go outside and you sit on these cheap acrylic fibers and you just feel uncomfortable. So this is really a fabric which is transmitting the feeling of like a very loungy, comfortable effect. In addition, the yarn has been treated with a FR solution, so they become inherently flame retardant as well. I'll show you here a few more colors. This is this rich taupe where you see here, depending the direction you use it, also a beautiful texture. Here we mix the stripe on a light warp with the black little stripe to give a little bit more accent. Here's the back one. Then we have a beautiful gray color along with the stripe. So these qualities are woven in a contract quality, meaning we have 45,000 martingale at least, and they're therefore suitable for heavy contract and of course residential. Here it's beautiful forest green again with the black insert in the base of the fabric shimmering through. And here in the green version we actually added a little bit of this beautiful yellow accent. With the same yarn we did weave then the two fabrics Maffeo, a big herringbone pattern, bit scaled up so that it reads rich and textured, and then an all-over pattern, Donata. And Donata and Maffeo were actually the siblings of Marco Polo. So this is the quality which I'm going to show you next. And of course, here we have the plain one of Masai. And you see how beautiful this can be combined in environment to transmit a little modern and very sophisticated touch. Another three designs which are part of the Voyage collection inspired by the epic travels of explorers is Marco Polo in 2 articles and Columbus. And these were of course very historic figures, so we wanted to also create some sort of like a historic fabric, and we took the same yarns but not as fluffy as Masai and Mara, much more a dry hand, much more tighter weave and a lot of weight. So we talk about 730 grams per square meter or about 24 ounces. So it's a very heavy fabric, also in mind to help to transmit a luxurious feeling on the outdoor furniture seating, where you usually have the waterproof foam or not as high quality inside upholstery as an inside sofa. So with a bit of texture and heavyweight fabric, you can actually cover this up and create still the feeling that this is a beautiful upholstered furniture piece. The design take was working with stripes, ever classic design, but in a contemporary setting. So we use here a tapestry inspired setup. The fabrics are actually woven in the weft, but as you can turn them around, then they look like a tapestry planted weave. And with the stripe, here in another color, we then insert an additional design, a tartan geometric design. And here was also the idea that we didn't want to create a typical Nordic or Alpine look as we would see it with like checkers, where all of a sudden it reads just like a cottage in a ski mountain area. We wanted to keep this super general, super fashionable, easygoing, so that it can be as applicable in the West Coast or East Coast in America, in a club in Los Angeles on a roof, or in Shanghai. This is really a pattern which reminds of a classic take on a tartan in combination with a stripe. Here in another color, the fabric collections will be in 8 colors each design. So I'll just show you here a few ones. Here a beautiful take on a marine look, marine colors with the blues. An extremely pleasant colorway is this one here, where we just really work a lot of like beautiful, strong, upbeat colors, so that we can actually lift it once a little bit out of a beige world or of like a color world. This one here represents really the spirit of 4Spaces, and also the trend what we see in the outdoor areas, that the people, they just fancy more colors. The pinks are strong, the coral, the orange tones are strong, and here in combination we have this beautiful aqua color which goes next to pools very nicely, and in combination to help you to digest a color like this. Of course, we also create the plain one, Columbus. So here you can actually just see how beautiful you can create accents with this plain color. Columbus is also same as the entire collection, created out of flamey tartan propylene yarns. So the collection is contract proof with 45,000 martindale wraps and flamey tartaned. It's really bringing luxury to any contract project. And here you see the beautiful colors as a hanger of Columbus. So we really add on a lot of colors to actually go with this whole collection of the Voyage articles. Part of this year's collection, 2025, was also the homage to pay to the rich culture and textiles we have among the world. So we call it the World of Art collection. We looked at different cultures and took motifs into our collection, or qualities, or just textures and finishes, which are in one way or the other became a classical element in interior design. One of them was like working with the Art Deco movement from the 1920s, 1930s, analyzing the study and the patterns they used. And here we clearly can see beautiful texture, which was actually put in the background to enable the big motifs of the Art Deco, Egyptian designs, very decorated designs, to give them a nice background. So Vasili is a flattened chenille yarn. It's an upholstery quality, 140 wide, 54 inches wide. And it will come in various colors. For example, these ones. And what we did is we combined it also so that you have a beautiful combination with our Robin Hood velvet quality, which is a double width quality, a dim out quality in many, many colors, also suitable for upholstery fabric. So this one has been designed together. Then one of the motifs, of course, was going through the world was like the paisley pattern. The paisley pattern for us is just like one of the most classical designs. This is a double weave here. It's a quality, it's linen mixed with a modal yarn. Modal is this new yarn popping up, especially in fashion, derived from bamboos or tree bark. So what happens is like it has a beautiful fall and has this richness a little bit in these changeant colors when you look into the fiber. This is Krishna, so we named them after Indian god because it reminds us the most of it, with Indian culture. Then we have Enzo. Enzo is now what we call really a truly luxurious knitted wool construction with a beautiful fall. And even more striking, it has this double color sided. So we see Enzo, any kind of like exposed drapery installation, separation, but also in very prestigious rooms where you walk from inside to the outside and you walk by this fabric and you can create this double accent. It comes also in about 8 different colors. I show you throughout the collection a few of them. This one here is the version in off-white, chalk white, with like a beautiful gray melange combination. Here fossil in petrol blue or a turquoise blue. Again, a very rich, beautiful culture. Enzo in a beautiful aqua color, gray, bluish front, and the back here again in a green moulinet construction. Then one of the modal linen qualities again. Show it to you like here. This is Shiva again. Shiva is derived by a very small hand-drawn pattern from a notebook. So it's a very tightly collected weave. And the last one in that family would be Rama. A simple, striking stripe pattern, again in double width and double weave. So you can turn it around and create a bit of a different accent. One of the really fun part of the collection was to develop this 100% cotton quality. It's a very beautiful treated cotton. It's nothing special actually, it's just really the quality of yarn. It's Italian cotton. We found the yarn in the fashion industry. So if you touch this fabric, you immediately are reminded of a beautiful suit or jacket. And what we did here, we wove some beautiful patterns. Here, the cannabis leaf, which is one of the most striking architectural natural structure. You can, if you look at the leaf like this, it's just so beautiful. You can vice versa the fabric, so they work on both sides. Show you the colors in a minute. Then we took a palm leaf, also ever classic motif, and we just combined it really in a artfully beautiful combination where you see the back weave here, the satin weave, and the texture popping up as well. This one here, you can flip it. Here are the colors to go with. So see, we stayed in the neutral colors. We see this as an upholstery. We see it as a wall covering, upholstered walls, or simply as beautiful draperies. Drapes extremely nice as well. And the third of the design was this one here, which I'm not going to tell you how it's called, because then you see what it is about. It is a very classical tapestry, and on a second look, so it took actually a lot of people by surprise that we come out with a design like this, and only on the second glimpse they started to realize, oh my God, there are UFOs in it, and there are aliens hiding behind. They are doing meditations here. So this is really one of a signature piece from 4Spaces. We are not afraid to actually go into like a rich century-old motif with the peacock and the almond flowers, and just do a version of 2025 of it. I think this is going to be really a true classic. Here are the colors in the same color palette like Maria and Palma, and it's called UFO. Then we added a whole section or a whole group of new upholstery fabrics. It is a undiscussed fact that the sheen is back. It's not a cheap sheen, it's like always this very sophisticated sheen. It's a combination of textures in the weave. As you see here, it's a jacquard woven velvet, and then over printed to actually create these beautiful textures. I'll show you the color in a minute. With that, we have the matching sheer on two qualities, either on Georgette or on Cindy, which shows also a beautiful thing. So you have a color matching drapery going with it. Then a new design was Zigzaghino, beautiful upholstery in polyester and cotton, also reversible with a beautiful detailed texture and lines. And with that big scale, we do have the small version to create a nice accent for a pillow or a side chair or the lining of the drapery. Here I show it to you in another color version. So the polyester has this very beautiful iridescence. You will see it much better when you have it once in your hands. It reads the color. Sometimes the color pops really up and sometimes it just stays in this darkness. So this collection was woven on just one warp, which is the black warp, because we thought this is really a beautiful design. Staying in the dark warp, not too much colors. The colors are with the weft here, and they are really strong enough also. This is a beautiful blue, the cobalt blue. You see it in both colors. Then another very beautiful, highly textured quality is Monaco. This is a knitted version. With Monaco, we then have a matching sheer, beautiful lurex quality. And to finish off, Amaya, which is the brother of Monaco. This is woven. Rich textures with an accent, sloppy yarn, which is very high in contrast to the dark copper and blue color in the ground. This is woven on very old looms, and here again you have the matching sheer. Selene, called after the stars. And you see perhaps also this beautiful changeant it has with this orange, and the stripe with it, Sidra. And then we added also these beautiful textures in a cotton quality. It's a blanket, basically. You can have it as a blanket, but we sell it also as the linear yard, as a meter yardage for draperies. This is the UFO, and this one here is Carmelina. And you see what we did here, we actually recycled the waste and made a fringe out of it. So you have it fringed in. If you want to have a blanket, you can have this one. And this is the final color and the final piece of the collection. Carmelina in this beautiful color here. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. It's a journey through the world, the history, the archives of textiles. It's celebrating different techniques from knitting to weaving on very old machines where big fashion labels would weave their own fabrics, tweeds, wool fabrics. And so I thank you very much for watching this introduction. And as always, you can find all the collection on our website, www.4spaces.ch, or you can also contact your local salesperson to get a presentation or samples. And if you happen to pass in Zurich, please feel free to stop in our showroom. Have a nice day.